You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Hey entrepreneurs, it's your podcast mogul Phil Better here. I am excited for this episode as I know you are. Before we jump into this episode, I'm going to ask you if you are also a podcaster and you're looking to grow your podcast or monetize your podcast, make sure you stay till the end of the episode. I have a special deal for you, or a special offer, if you will. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's jump into the episode.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, and today we have a very special guest joining us. Our guest, having spent over a decade in the business world across marketing, business strategy, e-com, and sales, as well as heading up teams and managing up to $2 billion. That's a B, ladies and gentlemen, not an N. $1 billion with billion-dollar businesses within the likes of Adidas and Wayfair. Our guest today, regardless of how successful they were in the office, it wasn't the life that they wanted. So they wanted to have more time for their partner and their daughter. They wanted a second child, but because of burnout and anxiety, they couldn't get pregnant for almost 2 years. And almost every vacation and Christmas, they would get sick. So in 2020, during a global pandemic, they decided to take all their savings and spend it on a coaching study. They quit their job, and with their partner, they started their own coaching business. And in 15 months, they grew this business to a consistent $6,000 a month without a website, no email list, and with only 400 followers on Instagram. Yeah, it's possible. And it's not the 6 figures in 2 months or whatever the wild west of the internet we're offering. But within 8 months, with 8 months of the year, they spend traveling with their kids, flexible schedules, and the highest amount of energy they've ever had. They discovered a different path. And it's easier than you think. And our guest is going to tell us about their journey. So please put a big, warm welcome for our guest, Olga Kirillova. Did I destroy it? I hope so. I was still of it. Olga, thank you so much for being here on the show.
I'm very, very happy to be here together with you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So Olga, I read this beautiful bio, an intro of you, but I want to hear it from your own words. Tell us who you are.
So myself and my partner, who is also my husband, so partner in life and in business, my co-founder, we're basically helping first-time founders to manage their mindset as they're building their business for the first time, right? So helping with the stress management, helping with productivity, helping with different business tools as well, because we spend a lot of time in business. But it's basically like haven't been on this journey now for 3 years and haven't seen dozens of people who want to start this journey, especially if they worked in, I don't know, in corporate environment before, it's very difficult to start at this age. Sometimes it's much easier after university, right? Like after uni, after college, like you just, feel like the wall is open for you, so you can just like try and play around. But
you
if
also
you
don't
work
have
in
so many responsibilities.
Yes. And it's like, it's very difficult for people to start when they work like in corporate environments for some years. I don't know if they work a decade, like I did, like my husband did, right? So like you have kids, I don't know, maybe you bought a house, you have like, I don't know, some loans to pay. So it's very like difficult journey to kind of like step out of corporate environment and start something of your own, right? So that's something that we help with. So we don't want people to drop out like in the first year, like 90% of people do.
Yes, because the digital entrepreneur or the entrepreneurial world is very, very hard because sometimes you're doing it all by yourself if you have to, and there's no path. No one's written the path for you. They can create guideposts, which you guys are doing. But so it was, I want to get into the why of why you do what you do. And obviously we talked a bit about how you were not happy with the life you were living, even though you were, some people would say you had the most successful life. You were managing billion-dollar businesses, you were doing e-com, you were helping so many people, and obviously it wasn't satisfying to you. So why did you make that switch? Like, what was deep down the reason you made the switch from 9 to 5, quitting the cold turkey and jumping straight into this coaching business?
Yeah, because like it felt like it had no meaning, right? It had a lot of pressure. And like I remember those nights, like when my partner was traveling and I had the child, like I had her like on my shoulder trying to finish some presentation, like because so I worked in product marketing like at that stage. And like, I don't know, like just executing the decisions of people when like they're straight bullshit and it's not gonna do anything, right? It's like I don't know, like how you would describe this. If you are like an A player who is stuck with a bunch of like C and D players, right? And you know this, but it's like your hands are tied. Like you can't do anything. It's corporate environments. Like all ideas will take ages. Like, oh, just do what you've been told, right? Like your opinion doesn't matter. So at some point, like you just lose the meaning of it because like, yes, the pay is good, right? But you experience constant pressure. You are doing something that you are not loving, right? So like you start like, I don't know, questioning yourself, like people also putting you down a lot of times. Like I'm also Russian, so like I'm very straightforward in my communication, very like direct, no bullshit. And people constantly told me like, oh, that's not how you behave in the office. That's why you can't get promoted, and stuff like this. So I developed a lot of anxiety. So I started to get anxiety attacks, like to the extent that I don't know, like I would just feel my limbs go completely numb and like my heart is jumping out of my chest and like I can't breathe. Like almost every morning that's like on the way to the office, like I would get this anxiety attack.
That is not fun and not a way to live your life in the least.
No, and my partner was close to burnout, so like even going to the supermarket, he was like, oh no, like I can't get from the couch. Or he would go and stand there and feel like all dizzy and kind of like he would faint. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, like that was not something that I wanted to leave. And I think like the last drop of it was that once I went on a business trip, like I was out of the house for I think like 4 days or something. And I came back and I picked up my little one from the daycare and she was just like punching me in the face and she was screaming. She was just screaming that home is shit and she doesn't want to go home because, like we were stressed. We were working all the time, like picking her up, then like opening the laptop again, working. And like, for me, it was like the last drop. I just like, I freaked out. I was like, okay, like, fuck this shit. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm out.
I love that, how it was your child punching you in the face, being like, okay, maybe we're working a little too much. We're going to have to take a moment here. So that moment, when that moment happened, what was the discussion like with your partner? Saying like, hey, baby's beating me up. We're barely seeing the child. I'm having anxiety attacks. You're close to burnout. Like, how did you guys decide on, okay, what was the conversation for the course of change?
There was not even like a lot of discussion because like I just felt like I almost every day I would come home and I would just tell Carson, like, I just hope they fire me. I just hope they fire me because like, I don't know, like if I would quit by myself because the pay is good, but like, I hate this. Like, I hope they fire me. And like, so he knew it was like, it didn't come like out of the blue, that I was like, okay, like I want to quit. And he was like super supportive. Like I'm really blessed with my partner. Like we're together for 12 years and it's not been a day that he would not support my crazy ideas. So
That's a true partner. That's a true partner. Support you even in the crazy ones. Hey, this is crazy, but you're my partner. I'm going with it. So he was supportive of going, hey, I wanna quit. I wanna do this coaching. Now, how did you find sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, like I just wanted to say, because like I didn't know at that time that would be coaching. I just knew that I don't want this shit, but I don't know what else, right? And that was like the point where I was trying to look for other jobs, actually, like just normal, right? Like maybe I find something. And then I noticed how I was like sabotaging myself in every interview and just like, oh, I'm a mom, I need to leave early, like something, like stuff that you never say in the interviews, And I was like, why I'm doing this? And then I like almost like physically felt like I'm gonna like throw up like before every interview. I was like, this is not normal. Like I'm clearly sabotaging myself. I clearly don't want this. So I hired a coach. That was my first experience of hiring someone to help me out with like finding this clarity. Okay, if not this, then what else? And that's how we came to the conclusion that like I might be a really good coach because like things that make me the happiest are humans. And I always like, if I had a good day in the office, that was always about interaction with humans, like not about doing some stupid Excel file, and like calculating margins or whatnot. So yeah, and that's kind of like, I'm generally like, I think a very quick decision maker. So I just, I don't know, spend a couple of days, did the research, found like, okay, like what are the top 3 schools in the world for coaching, like chose one and just like, okay, I'm investing my only savings in that. So like, I'm going in.
No, and I love it how you were like, you didn't have a plan B. It was like, it was all or nothing. You did your due diligence as much as you can without overthinking. And you're like, okay, let's go for this. And you jumped in. And then obviously you must have had, I'm curious how you did it without a website and with only no email list with 400 followers. Like that's incredible because most people say you have to build an audience. You need to get a whole bunch of people, but you're hitting 6K at the time you were telling us 6K consistently on a month without a huge audience.
Basically, like I really believe that's like when we are starting out, our first clients will always come from our network, like always from our network, right? Because there are so many people out there, and like why would people like trust some random, I don't know, Joe who is offering something that you're offering as well, like instead of like trusting you, right? People, when they know you, they trust you and they will be like much more eager to work with you. So it's kind of like majority of our first clients, they came from our network. And then like it was just referral based like business model, right? So like we just like did our best to provide like the best service that we could like to the people, and they started referring other people, and that we figured out like, okay, like actually we can set up a proper referral system for that. And like that's how it all started, just like that.
And so now you get to spend pretty much 8 months of the year just enjoying life.
Yes, I mean, like it's not always that easy, like of course, because like now like the older one, she started school, so it's not that much travel anymore that is possible. But yeah, like at the time, like when we just started out, that was really nice because like we took 8 months just traveling, because like when you have internet, like the only thing that you need to have is stable internet connection, right? So we worked on an individual basis with people, we worked with groups, right? So that was quite easy. And actually, because we started in global pandemic, everything was digital. So like we started doing some in-person things now, but like that's been half year maybe. That we're doing like some workshops like in tech startup incubators or accelerators, for example, for first-time founders. But before, only digital.
I love it. I love how you went fully embrace the digital entrepreneur lifestyle by being nomadic when you can, and all you really need, like you said, was an internet connection and a laptop, and you can do whatever you need to do. where do you see, since you're still relatively early in your journey, you're 3 years in, where do you see yourself going? Are you looking to sell the coaching company? Are you looking to pivot into a different niche or expand it into even more stuff?
No, we're just looking at like diversifying the portfolio a little bit and just like also introducing different income streams, right? So like we have one program that's we like constantly tested with people, and now at the stage that we're turning it into passive income, so that's like one source of income for us. Then we're still doing like another project, like still with the groups, helping people just to earn and get their like first money in, right? Like when they're just starting out. So we like really like in 3 weeks make them like go all out and just like focus on sales. And then like we're also looking into building a community platform like for our services going forward.
And I'm just creating
Expanding step by step.
slow and steady, expanding, creating the empire that you want in the coaching world with Olga here from mettaCOmpany coaching. Do you have a tip? Because you went all in, you went balls to the wall. You're like, this is it. Now some people may have that go for the jump all in. What suggestion do you have for those people? The people who are like, F it, fuck it, I'm done with this job, I want to be an entrepreneur. What suggestion or what tip would you have for them?
Actually, I would not recommend them doing what I did.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip. But why would you recommend them not doing that?
Because so like when we just started like with this coaching study and I got pregnant like with the second child finally, so we were very happy. The thing was that like our like Carsten's only salary, because he was working still in corporate and I was not enough to pay the bills. So we were making like minus €1,000 every month. And I remember this moment, you know, like 7 months pregnant, lying with my belly on the bed and crying my eyes out, like feeling stressed that's like I won't be able to provide for my children. And I was like, I don't want this stress for anyone. Like it gave me an awesome kick in the butt, because like at that moment of time I was like, okay, you know what, bitch, like if money was not an issue, what would you do? Like, what would you do now, right? So it gave me this push to like go out, like massive action, like offering my services to like my whole network, like everybody, like didn't matter, like if people wanted it or didn't want it, like they want to like try something, they want to try for free, they want to work like, I don't know, like I'll take $50 per hour, like whatever that is, right? So it gave me this kick, but I think like it's just not very smart, to be honest, to put yourself under so much stress. So we always recommend our clients to do it step by step, to start like a side hustle first, really like grow it to, I don't know, at least like 50K, and then start slowly shifting out. Like if you can reduce your working hours, I don't know, if you can go part-time, if you can do freelancing for some time, like to ensure that, you know, you get some stable income in. Or like, I don't know, if you can make an agreement with your partner that's like somebody is like still bringing like and covering the basic expenses, like, I don't know, if covering your rent, insurances, like whatever needs to be paid, right? Not to put yourself under stress. Like why? Like this doesn't need to be this way, right? Start a side hustle, like focus on sales at first, like as the first skill that you need, right? Then on marketing. But like, don't go crazy. Grow this business first, and then start slowly shifting out when you feel it is stable.
I love it. That is a great tip that's been shared a few times already on this, and in multiple books, saying start the side hustle first before jumping all in, because, like you said, there's a super amount of stress, and I can only imagine being pregnant and trying to start your own business and living on one side, and dealing with a 2-year-old or however old your child or your daughter was at the time. You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, like actually, I think like I love this because, well, like that's to the coaching, right? Like because we all have a certain identity that we are like kind of used to, right? Like we identify ourselves as someone. And because I grew up in a very poor family and my mom was an alcoholic, like at some point she took like, I don't know, 3 credits that she couldn't pay back. So, and I had like collectors at my door when I was 20 saying that they're going to take everything because my mom is not able to pay the money back. So, and I like solved this situation, right? So like for one, I don't really have this like money fear that majority of people have, because like, been there, done that. right?
I'm good. You can't do it. The Russians did it worse to me. Like, you can't do shit with me, kind of thing. Well,
Exactly. Right. So, and also I have this like attachment to this identity that's like, I'm the crisis manager. I'm the crisis solver. I'm very calm and very rational when the crisis hits. Right. But that's not necessarily what you want to do to yourself. And especially, like when you're growing and building a business, like you don't want to be in the crisis all the time. So like, that's also like to the point of releasing this identity and building a new one for yourself.
I love it. I love that you created an identity that worked for who you needed to be at the time, and then realized this is not the identity I want anymore, and you evolved it and you changed it to an even bigger one. What was it like when you started getting those, like, the consistent 6K a month? Like, what did that feel like for you and for your family?
Relief. The feeling was relief. Like, I can do it. It's working. Like, we're good. We're okay.
God, did you take a big giant sigh, like you're like, thank Jesus, this is done? I'm not pregnant.
No,
Right?
no, because like, I think I really believe in this statement, like that you either grow or die. And I think it's true for an individual, but it's also true for a business, right? Like if your business is not evolving, it's dying. So like it's not about getting comfortable ever and just not doing anything about it. It's like it's evolving together with you, right? And plus on top of that, that business, I think for me is really purpose-driven business. So it comes from desire to really give people this sense of freedom and flexibility that gave to me, right? And for which I'm like extremely grateful. So this is something that's, like I get more energy from work than like if I'm not working. It's like the more I work, the more energy I get. That's like how weird it is.
It's an interesting, but now you're working on something that you love. So obviously it's going to give you that energy. When did you figure that you wanted to work with founders?
In the beginning, like I told you, right? I was just working with anyone and everyone, whoever would take me up on my offer. But like over time, because like I got a lot of experience through that, and I understood that like okay, like I was coaching people who I don't know, like had anxiety like I had, or had burnout at work, people who were bullied in the office, people like with relationship issues, like everything. But then at some point when the entrepreneurs started to like come to me, like I figured out that's like it's very interesting. I love this the most. I love how these people think, and they think differently. But it kind of like built in my head the bridge that I know the most about corporate professionals because I spent 13 years in corporate. And right now I'm doing the entrepreneurial thing, which I'm really enjoying. So why not bring people like me just a couple steps back into the same space that I'm enjoying right now, right? So it's like step by step. And as we are growing the business, our clients are growing as well.
I love that. I love as you grow, they grow. So it's a symbiotic symbiosis relationship. I would love to hear a memory of a win that either cemented your why. So either a win that you got a client that cemented why you're doing what you're doing, or a memory that you were able to achieve, like something like you achieved something with this business, with your journey into an entrepreneurship.
I think like there was the moment of realizing that I'm building the business the way I used to work in corporate job. And that was, I think, the moment when a lot of things shifted because I was kind of like sitting on the floor and I was like crying and feeling stressed from like trying to get the clients and like hustling hard. And I was like, fuck, like this is not what I want because like I wanted more flexibility, right? And like there came the realization that actually nobody wants the business. Nobody wants the business. Everybody wants a lifestyle and a certain lifestyle. And for this, you need to understand that like you are the one who is creating that. So if you're used to working in a certain way in a corporate environment, you will bring this mindset together with you. And you need to change that. You need to change like the way you operate. You need to really become aware of how you function, what suits you, the way how you deliver in your service, because the service can be the same. Like there's so many people who are coaches, right? Like, God, like, I don't know, like thousands of them, millions of them soon, right? Because like it's a growing industry. But like the way that suits you to work, like what do you enjoy? Like how do you work with that? Like what's the most organic for you? And it doesn't need to be the way that works for others, because you are unique and you have like very unique skills. And at that point of time, like it really became very apparent that like our sweet spot is like actually events, workshops, like courses, group programs where we have like this audience, right? And like that shifted like a lot of things in a way, how we structure the business, like how we, structure our lead magnets, right? Like everything. And it just became like very apparent that we have our own unique way of doing that. So I think that was like a changing point for me.
I love that little bit of advice that you just gave about how you take the mindset of how you worked in the corporate world and you end up bringing it to your business. And if you don't like it, you got to change that. You have to evolve past that. Did it take you long to get past that mindset?
Well, like we're coaches, so we have tools for that, right? So
so you use your own tools to solve your problem. I love it. It works. It's just it proves that your systems and your programs work.
yeah, I mean, like the thing is also like I'm very nerdy about neuroscience, because a lot of times like in coaching we use also like psychology tools, but they're like kind of like not extremely satisfying for me, because I was like, it still doesn't explain the why. Like, so what happens in the brain, like in this moment of time, right? So I think like that's really like digging into that area really helped me to understand that's like generally, I mean, you just need to know that your brain is a survival brain. It always focused on survival, like no matter what. It's like its only task is to keep you alive. It's not meant to make you happy. It's not meant you to like thrive in any way. Like that's not what your brain is focused on, right? Like we kind of like from the, I don't know, last 20 years of research, we know that by the age of 35, we are functioning like 95% on autopilot, right? So like our thoughts today exactly the same as we had yesterday, 95% of them. And 87% of those thoughts are negative, right? So like our brain is always like focused on like what can go wrong, like what will not work, right? And that's where like this consciousness, this like prefrontal cortex here, like in the front of our brain, is our ability to actually like manage the rest of the brain, right? And constantly like divert ourselves from like having these negative thoughts to like, okay, like, but what if it works? Like, but what if it works? But what if it was easy? What if you didn't need to do it like the hard way, like, and you just constantly like shift yourself to a different direction. So that works when you start understanding how it functions generally.
And I love how like you're bringing in science into your coaching, and it's not just, oh, this is maybe things. You're bringing in proof and tools that have been tested over time and time again to make it better, and it just makes you a better coach because you get to use the coach. You can say that you are a testimonial to the tools because it's helped you. My God, you figured out the cheat code to life here. Solving your own problems and proof that it solves other people's problems. Olga, thank you for sharing that. We are coming to the end, which I hate because we just started talking. It goes by so fast. So we're definitely going to have you back on the podcast, talking more about what it is you do more in depth and that. But we are jumping to the spark question of the show because we want to spark those conversations with strangers you haven't met yet. And Olga is no longer a stranger, but I want to know, Olga, if you could relive a day from your past without changing anything, which day would it be?
Given birth for the first time?
That's very interesting.
I know, like I sound a bit weird, but because like majority of women are dreading this moment, but I don't know, like it really felt magical because like I did it without any medication, and it was very intense, but it was such a feeling of connection to my body that I probably never felt before or after, because yes, like you get the pain and you get this like intensity, but in between your contractions your body relaxes completely. Like I don't know, like if you are like melting into these beds, like in this hospital where you're lying, so you get in some sort of trance, and I don't know, like, yeah, there's just the feeling of connection and creation. That was something very special for me. And the feeling after, when like the little one is there, the amount of love I felt, I don't even know like how to explain this. It's like if you're felt like filled with light, and this light is coming out of like every pore of your body. Like that's that much, I don't know, like overwhelming almost feeling I never felt like before after. Like I love my partner, like God knows, like I love Karsten, but I never felt anything like this.
No, I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with you saying what you just did. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay and not upset with you describing how the birth of your child is one of the most magical moments. I'm pretty sure there's literature saying that, so I'm pretty sure you're covered there, Olga. But that is a very interesting answer. I appreciate you sharing that with us, because it's not an answer I would have expected. So thank you. But we are coming to the end. I'm going to jump off screen here, Olga. I want to give you the last little bit. Let my audience know how they can come see you, since most of them are starting entrepreneurs and they may need a little help, or they may be starting founders and need a little help, and maybe you can provide that coaching. So the floor is yours.
So quite easy. It's Metta, double T. So not Meta like metaverse, but Metta like Buddhist Metta, mettaCOaching.com. That's where you can find myself and Karsten, my partner. That's it.
Excellent. How much easier is it than that? Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, she only has 400 followers. So go to mettaCOaching.com.
Now a bit more, a bit.
Oh, you have a bit more. Okay, she has 405. No, they do have quite a number of followers now, and it's an amazing account. I have started following it. So do yourself a favor. Check out the show notes down below. You'll be able to follow Olga on Instagram and also find their website. Olga, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and talking with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. To my audience, like I always say at the end of these episodes, always remember to invest in yourself.
Hey, digital entrepreneurs, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Now, if you're looking to take your podcast to the next level, like most of these entrepreneurs have taken their business to the next level, to scale it, if you will, make sure you check out my brand new newsletter. Links are down below. It is called the Monetization Mogul Syndicate newsletter, or it could be Feel Better Stories of Monetization Moguls, or Making Moguls. This is what I do. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. But I want to thank you very much for listening. And as always, remember to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.